Hi, my name is James Kendrick with jkontheRun.com, and right now I'm sitting in a nondescript hotel room in the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I have traveled for the last day to come and pay my respects and attend the funeral, the memorial service for one of my dearest friends, Marc Orchant. I know I've been blogging a lot about this, and maybe those of you who haven't had the good fortune to come in contact with Marc over the years don't understand, but it's something that I really feel that I need to get out of my system. Marc was one of my dearest friends. And the reason Marc was one of my dearest friends is because of the man that Marc was. Um, I can state with absolute certainty that I am a better person for having known Marc Orchant and for having had Marc as one of my dear friends. There's no question about that. Marc was one of the best people I have ever met. He genuinely liked everybody he came in contact with. Seriously, he did. You don't find people like that very often. I first came in contact with Marc several years ago, probably 4 years ago now, and he reached out to me because he thought we would be good friends. And he sent me an email and said, I want us to do something together because I followed your writings and I believe in what you say, and I think we will be good friends and we'll work well together. And that's just typical Marc. He was so thinking ahead and one of the most brilliant men that I've ever met. Seriously, because he knew what seemed to be everything about everything, quite frankly. He did. Mobile technology, gadgets, Marc's fondness of gadgets is marked like my own. And that was one of the things that, of course, made us uh, very good friends because we liked a lot of the same stuff. But I mean, we didn't agree on everything. We didn't like absolutely everything, that we did. We were typical friends. We each had our points of view about different things, and the beauty of having a friendship with Marc was that he genuinely was interested in what your point of view was. I mean, he and I would have discussions, and he would tell me, I really want to know what you think about this because I really like it, and this is why I really like it, but I want to know what you think. One of the highlights of my mobile technology career, if you want to call it that, was that Marc once told me and other people that I knew more about mobile technology than anybody he had ever met. And that was high praise from Marc, who not only knew quite a lot about mobile technology himself, but was well connected in the mobile technology community enough where he knew almost everybody else who knew something about it. So it was very high praise indeed, and one of the things I am most proud of that came out of my relationship with Marc. Marc liked people, like I said, and he would interact with someone he had just met and treat them exactly the same as he would treat somebody who he had been friends with for 20 years. He genuinely liked people, and he really liked interacting and conversing with people, whether it's online or in the real world. I mean, Mark genuinely liked hearing what you had to say about something. He really wanted to know. He was very interested in what made you tick, because everything can be applied to one's own life. You know, if you're open enough, and Mark was extremely open individual. If you're open enough in your dealings with other people, you can only benefit from that. And Mark knew that and told me that many, many times. I was very, very fortunate to have spent literally hundreds of hours in conversation with Mark over the years. And, you know, our live person meetings were just awesome, but totally extensions of our online conversations, phone calls, Skype. I mean, he and I were on Skype all the time. And one thing that was most impressive about Mark, and I think one of the reasons why Mark was such a great man, was his love and devotion for his family was monumental. He was so in love with his family, his wife Sue and his children Rebecca and Jason. He was so proud of everything they were accomplishing in life. He would, while Mark was always animated all the time, he would go to a new level of animation when he would talk to me about his family and what Sue had accomplished or what Jason had going on. Just absolutely, it drove him. It was the fuel that drove Mark and made Mark the person he is. And he had probably the best family life of any man I've ever met. And that was in large part because of the man that Mark was, which was a wonderful, caring man, and one who genuinely put his family above everything else. And everything that he did was geared towards keeping that home life as wonderful as it was. And I know that for a fact from talking to him so many times about it. Mark was so thrilled about his family life, his home life, that it is everything he did was centered around that. He had all kinds of opportunities presented to him that he just absolutely wouldn't consider because it would interfere with his home life, and I respect him so much for that. Mark, like I said, was one of my dearest friends. I loved Mark like a brother, and I miss Mark terribly already. And it's such a tragedy when someone who is such a special person like Mark gets taken from this world, this life, so abruptly and so without any real, logic behind it. He's there and then he's not there. And his family is devastated. Obviously, I had the good fortune to spend some time with his wife Sue today after this memorial service, which was wonderful. It was a wonderful memorial service that epitomized who Mark was and drove home the fact that Mark was the same way with everyone, like I said. That's what made Mark so special and what made so many people like him. There were hundreds of people at Mark's memorial service today, and rightly so, and fittingly so, paying their last respects and having a nice community remembrance of the man that Mark was. And I spent time speaking with Sue today. We had some nice stories about, our mutual contact with Mark, because they crossed they crossed paths many times. I mean, Mark and I recorded the On the Run with Tablet PCs podcast for almost 3 years, weekly. till towards the end where we didn't have a time, really have an opportunity because of busy schedules to record as frequently as we liked. But we recorded, and there was funny stories of Mark, how he was constantly telling his household to be quiet. He was recording, and um, the same things that went on in my house at the same time. And it was just wonderful spending time with Mark's family. They're wonderful people, and I know a lot of that is in large part because of the wonderful man that Mark was. And Mark is sorely missed by not just his friends and family, but also by the thousands and thousands of people in the online tech community who have been following Mark or come across Mark or interacted with Mark uh, virtually, because Mark would never fail to interact with someone who wanted to. And that's another reason why he was such a wonderful man. Mark, we miss you tremendously. And I hope you're up there checking up on us all on your Trio or your iPhone now and keeping up with the technology, because I know that that's what you would do if you could. And so, Mark, farewell. Love you, man. And miss you. And I hope that my life is as full as yours was, because it was. Because that's the kind of man you were. You did everything to the fullest capacity you could. And that's what made you so special. And so, farewell, Mark. We miss you. We love you. And I hope that your family can get past this devastation and will be fine. It will take a long time, sure, but I'm there to help if the family needs it. I'm more than happy to do so. Bye, Mark. We'll see you.